YouTube, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the KELL Network. Man, I'm skipping the introduction. I'm skipping the normal, announcements before I do the episode, man. For this episode, I'm going to talk about the importance of focus. Focus is your superpower. Focus is the fuel that gets you to your dreams. Focus is the fuel that gets you to your destination. And specifically, I want to talk about the importance of protecting your focus when it comes to, setting out goals and getting to those goals, because hanging around the wrong people, being in the wrong spaces, being within the wrong company is the quickest way to kill your dreams. It is the quickest way to kill your goals. Word to my business partner, Christoph. Let's break this down. Let's extrapolate this. How can one realize if they are in the wrong company? If every time you come around these types of people, right, and they're always asking you for money, they never have anything going on. Recently, I was on the phone with a certain individual and I had asked them, I was like, yo, what you got going on? The person told me they had nothing going on. Do I need to be on the phone with that type of person? Me being, the smooth guy that I am, I ended the conversation smoothly. I didn't just hang up on the ball. I just, transition out of the conversation because that conversation has nothing for me inside of it. There's no business opportunity. There's no moves. There's nothing that I can extract. So you have to be mindful of those who you choose to hang around. And I think the number one killer, there's many, many killers, but the number one killer of any dream is a toxic relationship. A toxic relationship, being with a toxic person. How do you identify if you're in a toxic relationship or you are with a toxic person? Number one, the person prioritizes partying. All they want to do is party and lollygag and live in la la land and la 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 la. No bills, no responsibilities. I don't want to do anything. I just want to sit around. I want to play video games. I want to be lazy. I don't want to do anything. I just want to spend money. I just want to shop. I just want to be a bum. You don't want to hang around those types of people. You don't want to hang around people who have a bummy welfare mindset, a handout mindset, a give me a check mindset for nothing. You don't need those types of people in your circle, because what's going to happen is entitlement's going to come through when you do make it in life. If you are, let's say you got 5 friends, right? And you are the one who makes it. You are the one who was hand chosen by God to make it. You now have 4 other people in your life who now feel entitled to what you had to work hard for. They weren't there with you. They didn't see, your blood, sweat, and tears. They didn't see you, put your heart into this. But now they're entitled. Now they feel like they deserve a handout. And mental real estate is super, super, super important. Protecting and guarding your mental real estate. There's a lot of people who need to clear out the mind. I like to envision the mind like, the body. Whatever you put into the body reflects on the outside. Let's say you are eating junk food. Let's say all you're eating is McDonald's every single day. You're not exercising. You're consuming foods that are high in sugar, high in sodium. What's going to happen is you're going to put on weight. You might get to a point where you are obese. There are a lot of people who are obese mentally. They've got a lot of fat mentally. There's a lot of people who need to be put on a mental treadmill. There's a lot of people who need to be put on a mental treadmill. They have all these degenerate voices in their head. They're filled with all these degenerate desires. Why are you one of them? Why do you have all these negative thoughts in your head? Why? Because you don't take care of your mind. You don't respect your mind. There's a lot of people who don't respect their mind. They would rather, be around corrupt friends. They would rather be in a toxic relationship. They'd rather consume music and media that, pollutes the mind, pollutes the spirit, rather than something that's going to nourish the spirit. I'm at a certain point where there's certain musicians I don't want to listen to. You might see me, you might think, man, Kelly's into this type of music, that type. No. Kel don't listen to anything. Why would I start my day off with, degeneracy? Why would I start my day off with debauchery? I'm not doing that. I'm not about to get out of bed and listen to some rapper talk about how he, took out 100 people. I don't want to listen to that. Is that normal? Is that normal to wake up in the morning and, pick up a blunt and put on some rap music about a rapper who talked about how he took out 100 people? Is that normal? Is that normal as a human being? I don't care what you believe in, but let's say you didn't believe in a God. Let's say there was something else out there. That's something else that you believe in, whether it be the universe, whatever you believe in. Do you think that something else is happy with you waking up in the morning and putting a blunt on your lip and, listening to this degenerate music that's poisoning your soul, that's introducing corrupt thinking, that's putting, demons into your heart? Do you honestly think that, that something is out there and that something is happy to see you do that? Come on, let's be real. Everything that goes into the mind manifests in the body and manifests throughout your life. Yes, everything that goes into the mind manifests in your body and manifests in every other way. See, I'm a man of vision. I'm a visionary. As you can see, Man, shout out to this coat, man. I ain't gonna sit here and lie, man. Shout out to this coat, man. I'm rocking with this, sir. You feel me? This is my third episode of the night. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm focused like that. I'm not on the phone with a chick. I'm not pillow talking. You need to cut that out. You are where you're at right now because you put too much focus into a chick. Focus on a check, not a chick. Focus on a check, not a chick, and the chick will come. Focus on a check, not a chick. What you do if you chase a chick? The chick gonna run. You see what I'm saying? If you chasing something, that means that it's running. I'm gonna tell you this. You probably heard this before. You'll always lose money chasing women, but you'll never lose women chasing money. You'll always lose money chasing women, but you'll never lose women chasing money. Now, I don't promote, degeneracy. I don't promote you live a vagabond lifestyle. But what I'm trying to say is, let's say your goal is to, end up with the baddest chick you could possibly get. Or let's say your goal is to, end up in the best possible relationship with somebody that you really find attractive. You would be better off by focusing on your fitness, focusing on your health, focusing on yourself, focusing on your business, focusing on your bag, focusing on your wallet. See, people don't mind their business enough. People don't mind their business enough. When you pray tonight, I want you to say, God, help me to mind my business. God, help me to mind my business. You focused on everybody else's business. You focused on what everybody else got going on except for you. You looking into everybody's wallet. You looking at celebrities. You talking about rappers and people that you don't even know. You talking about Drake and Kendrick. What about you? You talking about the beef between Drake and Kendrick. You ain't got no beef up in your fridge. Your fridge is empty, my boy. Yeah. You talking about all these rappers and celebrities who don't even know you exist, but you're over here giving away all this energy that you feel me, pick up a laptop, start a business, pick up a camera, pick up a mic, do something with your life. A lot of y'all will remain stuck. A lot of you guys will remain stuck. You listen, man, I don't care what you believe in, but tonight before you go to bed, you need to pray to God. Tell God to remove these evil spirits out your heart, because guess what? Poverty is of the devil. They say money is the root of all evil. Me personally, KELL Network, I believe that poverty is of the devil. The devil wants you to be poor. The devil feeds you these lies. The devil likes to make people, fall into alcoholism and drug abuse and all these nasty things. These are all things that corrupt the body and strip away financial gain from you. These are things that pull away from your wallet. When you get that paycheck, well, you got to pay your vices. These are things that are destroying you. So before you get on this journey of wealth, I would recommend you don't got to listen to me. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to the guy with the multicam show. Don't listen to me right now. But anyways, take it with a grain of salt. If I were you, I would pray and I would ask God to remove these evil things from you. Remove these things out of my life. A lot of y'all are living in a vagabond mindset. You haven't been able to keep a job. You can't keep a job. You're constantly in transition. You work at a place for 2 weeks and then the next week you're working somewhere else and then you're doing this. You bouncing around. You're a wanderer. You wander around. You have a wanderer spirit. You need to cut that out. Ask God to remove that vagabond. Listen, ask God to remove that vagabond welfare, dirty spirit out of your mind, bro. Listen, I want all of y'all to be able to, be on camera and, put on these types of coats like me and, put on this type fur. Like, I want y'all to be on this type of time. You see what I'm saying? I want y'all to be able to, pull out a blue face. You see what I'm saying? Like, I want y'all to be able to have your own podcast studio that is not a rental. By the way, people love asking me, where do you film your pod? No. This is my personal space. We don't borrow anything. The only time I would go to a studio for a rental is if I was having a guest that I was really, really unfamiliar with, because I'm very protective of my space. If I don't know you like that, you can't be in the space. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have to know you. We have to build some sort of rapport. We have to build some sort of familiarity. So if it's somebody that I'm not too familiar with, then I'll book a studio. But for the most part, you feel me? I do all my episodes here. But again, somebody from out of town, somebody that I don't know, somebody that I don't, you feel me, know too well, somebody I have no rapport with, studio. Regular episodes here. But anyways, I say that to say I want to see all of y'all win. I'm not just doing this to, talk. I want to see y'all win. Why are you allowing corrupt things to, live within your mind? Why? You got to ask yourself these things, man. You got to ask yourself. And, before I move on from my point of, being a vagabond and, not really having your feet planted anywhere, do a thorough evaluation. Ask yourself, how many jobs have you had in the last 2 years? If you've had more than 10 jobs in the last 2 years, listen, you need some serious prayer. The Bible talks about how all things work out for the greater good, but at the same time, the Bible doesn't encourage bad decisions. A lot of people, they make terrible decisions. They're like, you know what? God will work it out for the great. No, bro. There's certain damage. There's certain forms of damage that you don't want to take. There's certain damage that are damn near irreparable. Let's say somebody was choosing to live, the goon life, the street life, right? And, they were to get... Let's say somebody were to get shot and they lose a leg. Check this out. People love to say, well, all things work out for the greater good as an excuse to make bad decisions and live a degenerate life. Let's say you were to get shot in the leg, right? And you had to get the entire leg cut off. If you go to church the next day or the next week, and you pray and you ask God to regrow the leg, I promise you the leg wouldn't grow back. It wouldn't grow back. Why? Because there's certain forms of damage that you can't 100% come back from. Yes, you feel me? Your soul matters. God got your soul. Jesus paid for your sins, but there's certain forms of damage that you do not want to take. Listen, you do not want to put yourself in position where you are catching incurable diseases. You don't want to do that. Stop living a filthy lifestyle. Why am I saying this? All these things correlate to the path of wealth. I'm talking about real wealth, brick by brick. I'm talking about brick by brick wealth is built through discipline, honesty, consistency. How in the world do you expect to achieve that if you can't even keep a job for, 8 months? I want you to lock in, try to keep a job for 8 months. Stop bouncing around. Stop spending a week somewhere and then doing something else and then doing something. A lot of y'all are scattermind. You're scatterbrained. You are scatterbrained. You are all over the place. One moment you want to do this. The next moment you want to do that. One moment you want to do this. The next. Why are you being scatterbrained? These are questions that you must ask yourself. And I'm very passionate about this, man. And a lot of people, they think, man, like, if I do walk the righteous path, what if I don't get rich? Let me tell you something. If you are walking the straight path, you're walking the righteous path. To be righteous means to be good. If you are walking a righteous path, good things will come across you. We live in an era and time where there's vast knowledge. There's a lot of knowledge out there. There's a lot of ways to earn. You could pick up a camera. I know photographers. I know people, in the photography, videography realm who make over 6 figures. Think about it. 6 figures is enough for you to drive a nice Mercedes or a BMW and live a nice life. But you choose, delayed gratification. You're going to hop into a Lexus. You're going to hop into a used 2017 Lexus for like $23,000. You're going to choose to lock in for a little bit. By age 26, 27, now you got some money to invest in the real estate. Now you got some money to invest in different business ventures. By age 30, now you are a millionaire. But it all started with, picking up something new things. And I just gave you an idea right there. I just inspired you. Just because you're a Christian, just because you walk with God doesn't mean that you need to walk in poverty. You don't. God doesn't want you to be poor. God doesn't want you to suffer. God does not like when people are unfocused. God does not like when people are unfocused. You must recenter your focus. A lot of y'all watching me, but y'all losing sight. You probably on a phone texting the chick who doesn't want anything to do with you. You probably scrolling through Instagram, looking at a chick who won't even ever see you ever in life. She doesn't know you exist. She doesn't even know that you're out there. Why are you wasting energy? Why are you wasting energy on meaningless, worthless things? Life is short. Make the most of it, man. Stop playing. Stop playing. Being a bum comes at a cost. I'll be honest with you. There's certain individuals who I, used to go to high school with that I now see today. They try to have a conversation. I don't really want to talk. There's nothing to talk about. There's nothing that you can engage me with in conversation. Why? You fell off, bro. A lot of people were popping. They were lit back in high school. But now when you check up on them, they ain't got nothing going on. Why? Because they weren't focused. They let, alcohol. They let drugs. They let a chick. They let evil things, distract them. They let evil things consume their soul. So now we in 2025 and you might mess around, walk into a Burger King and you see that guy who used to be lit at your high school, that guy who used to be the man, he on the fries. Nothing wrong with that. I think, Burger King, McDonald's, those jobs are perfect starters. You just came to America, Burger King, McDonald's, perfect starters. But there's a lot of people, they allowed the wrong things to consume them. They allow drugs to consume them. They allow alcohol to consume them. They allow toxic people to consume them to the point where they've, defeated themselves. They've self-destructed. You You know what I'm saying? So you have to be mindful. You have to be aware of all these things. You need to be aware. It is crucial to be aware. To be aware is the beginning of new thought. To be aware is the beginning of new knowledge. If you are unaware of a certain behavior that you're doing, how can you correct it? Which is why you need to have friends in your life who hold you accountable. My business partner, Krestoff, we hold each other accountable. We keep our conversations clean. We keep our conversations about business. We don't diverge. We don't go into irrelevant matters. We're not gossiping. We're not, talking about lustful things. We keep our conversations clean and we keep our conversations about business. Why? Because we are protecting the focus. The focus is key. Focus is the fuel to success. I'm going to say that again. Focus is the fuel to success. What do you gain by being an unfocused person? When you're an unfocused person, you're like a man who's double-minded. You're a person who is double-minded. You can't stand firm on something. You can't stand firm on nothing. You can't. Recently I was chopping it up with a shorty, right? And me and her, we was kicking it. And I was telling her, I'm like, yo, you feel me? This is my goal. Now, mind you, I don't recommend you just like run your mouth to any female about your goal just because you don't really know who you're dealing with. So be mindful of, mind your matters, focus on yourself, be mindful of what you say to people. But, I'm kicking it with shorty, right? And this is a trusted individual, a vetted individual. I'm talking to shorty, right? And I'm like, yo, $1 million just isn't a whole lot of money. And she's telling me, she's like, $1 million, that's damn near poverty. I'm like, what you mean that's damn near poverty? She said, one is too close to none. She told me that if she ran up $1 million and she took a trip to Sedona, or she took a trip to Eddie V's, or, she went out to lunch, after she pays that bill, she's no longer a millionaire anymore. And in my mind, I already knew that. That's common sense. That's obvious. You get $1 million the moment you go to the dollar store, you're not a millionaire anymore. But the fact that, she was able to think like that, enticed me and encouraged me to, keep somebody like that, somebody who's business minded, somebody who's sharp like that in my entourage, in my circle. The fact that she said one is too close to none, I'm like, ooh, that's cold. I like that. One actually is too close to none. You know what I'm saying? That's why I got, multiple cameras. That's why I got the FX3. I got the FX30. I got multiple. One is too close to none. God forbid something happened to one. Now we're done. So in your life, how could you raise the bar? I know a lot of y'all got a goal to save $1,000, but how could you save $2,000? Because the moment you got that $1,000, life likes to happen. You might catch a flat tire. You might need to, put new brakes on your car. You might need to do some sort of maintenance, and now that $1,000 is gone, done. One is too close to none. So I like to ponder on these types of things. People say, well, if I could just be a million, no. If I could just be a multi-millionaire, one is too close to none. I need more than a singular million. You should think like that too. More than a singular million, because life likes to happen. The moment when something happens, you're no longer a millionaire. You're no longer the king on top of the hill. And I know that this is a much shorter episode, but I want to mention this before I get out of here. Focus, success, all these things require sacrifice. Success requires sacrifice of time, sacrifice of things that you love to do, sacrifice of people that you love to hang out with. This is my third episode that I filmed tonight. Before this, I was at a coffee shop editing for over 3 hours. A lot of people say silly things like, well, I think I'm gonna start YouTube. And then after 2-3 episodes, they quit. Focus. They didn't have any focus. They did not have any focus. They didn't have a sense of reality. They did not understand the fine print. A lot of people, they prop their phone up on the wall and they're like, I'm a YouTuber. But yeah, guys, I just thought I'd share that with you because this generation is crazy, man. As somebody who's in Gen Z, I'm seeing a lot of guys put a lot of their focus into a chick. And it's like, life is so much deeper than just relationships and carnal desires. Life is so much deeper than just having sex. Life is so much deeper than just being in love and being with somebody. No. You were put on this earth to worship God and glorify God. You were not put on this earth to glorify your own flesh. You weren't put on this earth to, chase money all the time. I just told you. I just gave you a talk on, getting to the bag. But at the same time, do not spend your whole life chasing money. I'm telling you to get to a bag so you have abundance to take care of yourself. You have abundance to take care of your family. You have abundance to give. You want to be the person that, people could come to in times of need, but at the same time, you don't want to be somebody that people take advantage of. There's a fine line between the two. There's a fine line between, a youngster, somebody who's ambitious about learning, comes to you and asks you for a textbook, or they ask you to help them out with a laptop, or they ask you to help them out with a camera. That's something completely different. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you got the bread, if you're a multimillionaire and a youngster who's serious approaches you and they say, hey, I want to go to university. Help me. I need help buying this textbook. Take the bread, bro. It's a textbook. If I'm a multimillionaire, how in the world could I lose by, making a donation and helping somebody get a textbook, by buying a textbook for somebody, by buying a laptop for somebody, by helping somebody get their first camera? How in the world could you lose? And God is watching all this stuff, and God will bless you for your good doings. God will bless you for your good deeds, but you need to, make sure you put yourself in a position where you can earn so that you can give. Giving is the best part about having. The best part about having wealth and riches is being able to give, being able to look out for people. You want to be that elder that everyone respects. When you come around, people are asking you for motivation. People are asking you for game. Yo, Unc, how did you get through this when you were 21? How did you get through this when you were 22? How did you maneuver through this obstacle when you were 23? You want to be that guy. You don't want to be the old head that, just sits around. Don't nobody respect them. You don't want to be in that position where you asking a young ball to get you some water and the young ball telling you to shut up and sit down. You don't want to be in that position. No, have some respect for yourself, have some dignity, but it all starts off in the mind. Without focus, nothing will come into fruition. I promise you, focus is powerful. Focus is deep. If you guys look on this channel, my first video, I went to Best Buy and I purchased the Sony FX3. And this space right here, this space was completely empty because I was only in this apartment for about a few days. I had just gotten this apartment. So I was only living in it for about a few days. And I remember talking about it. I remember sitting right there and I remember talking. I remember telling the people, yo, you feel me? In a few weeks, when this new furniture and this art and everything arrives, this is going to be a crazy ensemble, crazy in a good way. This is going to be something that people could come to whenever they need motivation, whenever they need game, whenever they need fuel for life. And I said that and it actually happened. Why? Because I was focused. I'm minded my own business. I didn't let things, redirect me. I didn't let things take me off the straight path. I stayed focused. I walked the righteous path. I stayed focused and I got to it honestly. I got to it respectfully and I made it happen all through focus. Focus is very, very powerful. Focus is the reason why, I'm on this podcast wearing this big old jacket. You see what I'm saying? Like, focus is, we're in April. And I'm like, man, I bought this jacket in December. You see what I'm saying? I bought this jacket in December. I had to rip the tag off. I'm like, you know what, man? This is a hot topic. I need to put this jacket on. You see what I'm saying? Because next month it's summertime. You see what I'm saying? May, it's going to get hot. June, it's going to be hot. I can't put this on, but April, I could get away with it. You know what I'm saying? But focus is the reason why I could do these things. Focus is the reason why I could fund this podcast, all while being a college student. Focus is key. Focus is crucial. Focus is necessary whenever you're trying to achieve or attain something. Guys, I gave y'all all the game. I gave you focus. Now it's up to you to become something. Thank you for tuning into this short episode of the KELL Network. I appreciate you for watching this podcast. Follow me on Instagram at KELL Network, KELL Network, NETWORK. I'll make sure to leave a link down in the description below to my link tree, which has all the links to all my social media. But thank you guys. I appreciate you tuning in. Let me know what y'all thought about this video, and let me know any tips y'all have on staying focused, how to stay focused, how to avoid distraction. Listen. The month of April, we putting death to distraction, no distractions. If you got toxic friends that are sucking your energy, pulling you down, cut it off. If you're in a toxic relationship that's weighing you down, cut it off. The month of April, we're putting death to distraction. But anyways, guys, thank you for tuning into this episode. I appreciate it. I'll catch you all on the next one. I'm out.